On the night of my birthday, I spent the whole night standing beneath Sebastian's building. I watched through the floor-to-ceiling window as he called me on his phone to say he was stuck in overtime, then whirl around and kiss the girl in his arms frantically. Once he hung up, their passion was so blinding they didn't even switch off the lights before sprawling across the carpet. Night faded into dawn. I turned and walked away, telling myself quietly, 3 days, just 3 days, and I would pack up my pride and self-respect and leave the man I had loved for 6 years. At the moment I turned around, I felt a sudden lightness. Letting go of someone didn't seem so hard. Before we go on, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Sebastian's fading affection had long shown clues. For instance, he'd started forgetting I'm allergic to mango. For instance, he would buy the red dresses I hate most. And, for instance, he forgot my 24th birthday. I had suspected many people, but Briar alone never crossed my mind. She carried too much of my old shadow, tear-prone, fragile, timid. All the very traits Sebastian despises, traits I spent 5 painful years shedding so I could become unruffled, unbreakable. And he grew prouder of me, claiming the woman I had become was finally worthy to stand beside him. So when Briar kept popping up in Sebastian's chatter, I brushed it off. My subconscious insisted the man who once frowned at my tears could never fall for that type. Yet, contrary to everything, Sebastian fell for exactly such a girl. A tiny quiver in her reddened eye corners and Sebastian's composure would crumble. No matter how late or how stormy the night, one call from the girl could make this man abandon me and rush out. Once upon a time that anxiety and tenderness had belonged to me alone. I was 19 when I met Sebastian. My father, for a $10,000 bride price, wanted to hand me to a 50-plus-year-old geezer as a mistress, not a wife, just a toy. We quarreled violently on the street. My face swelled like risen dough as I fought like a madwoman in my last stand. Sebastian stepped out of the throng like a knight, majestic as he slapped a $20,000 check into my father's hand. He walked off with me and bought out my father-daughter bond in one stroke. From that year on, Sebastian taught me, little by little, how to love. My showing up tonight was nothing more than Briar's uncontrollable declaration of war. "Hannah, it's all my fault. I twisted my ankle and Mr. Knight kindly drove me home, sorry for ruining your birthday." That text lured me here to spend a sleepless night witnessing quite a spectacle. All those details I'd deliberately ignored turned out to be nothing but excuses for Sebastian's waning love. I deleted the message and tapped block. I didn't even feel like asking questions. Whatever bond still linked me to Sebastian was spent. Saying goodbye needn't be ugly. Back at the night estate, I sucked in a breath, grabbed a trash bag and began to pack away 6 years of memories. Photo after photo, straight to the trash. Every gift he gave, I listed on Poshmark. The proceeds would go to charity. I kept at it until deep in the night. Sebastian rang, his voice mellow with post-pleasure fatigue. I frowned, a flicker of nausea rolling inside me. "Hannah, sorry, I've been swamped. Once these few crazy days are over, I'll make it up to you." I poked at my takeout absently. What's wrong? Are you mad?" "Nope, just sleepy. Take care." Impatience curdled under my ribs. After a quick goodbye, I went back to boxing everything up. In 3 days I would make sure no trace of my life here remained. Second day countdown. I put on light makeup, finished breakfast, and headed straight to the wedding planner. "Casey, you really want to cancel?" "Yes, I'm certain." "Charge the penalty per contract." The assistant swallowed whatever comment she had, met my resolute stare, and processed the cancellation with brisk pity in her eyes. The couture gown had already arrived. Being custom, it was non-refundable. While the clerks gawked, I handed the dress to a random passerby. A message from Sebastian popped up. "Lunch at noon. I need to talk." I typed sure after a second's thought. Might as well say goodbye properly. I sat straight-backed in the private dining room, watching 10 minutes roll past the agreed time with no sign of him. I waved the waiter over, ordered, and ate unhurriedly. I couldn't remember when tardiness and being stood up became routine. The old me would wait forever, but not anymore. 2 hours after I paid the check and left, Sebastian called in a rush. "Hannah, emergency at the office, go ahead, don't wait for me." My reflection in the car window stayed cool. "Okay, handle it." The relief in his exhale was audible. Across the street, Sebastian gently dabbed sauce from Briar's lip with a napkin. She ducked her head with a shy smile. I glanced at the snack in her hand and laughed soundlessly. So Sebastian didn't hate eating while strolling, he simply hated it when I did it. Once, because I had bought a candied apple while walking, he scolded me for lacking upbringing and poise. Driver uncle met my gaze in the mirror, uneasy. Maybe, you should still talk it out with Mr. Knight. I mean, the wedding. I shook my head. Talk, and then what? That he loves someone else isn't a fact I can debate away. Uncle sighed, secretly texting Sebastian that I'd seen him with Briar. So what if he knew? Sebastian skimmed the message, startled for half a heartbeat, then reverted to calm, strolling on with Briar, laughing. Uncle's sigh turned indignant as he hit the gas and drove me away. I've never doubted sincerity. Still, sincerity changes at light speed. A dignified exit is, after all, its own brand of courage. Third day countdown. I booked an apartment in distant Cedar Haven online and shipped my luggage ahead. Sebastian strode in at noon while I was hunched over cup noodles, arms folded, half amused, half unreadable. Hannah, let's postpone the wedding. I looked up and smiled sweetly. Sure, whatever you say. He dropped into the opposite chair, playful. Aren't you angry? Don't you want to know why? Would you tell me if I asked? He shrugged. Briar and I are actually nothing like what you imagine. I drew a slow breath. Let's break up. What? I said, Sebastian, we're done. I held his gaze and repeated word for word. His eyes stayed flat, frosty. Just because of Briar, I kept staring, saying nothing. He sprang up, irritable. Whatever, Hannah. Nitpicking gets old fast. Silent still, I watched the last shred of his patience burn out. He snapped, a man like me staying faithful to one woman, how realistic is that? Without waiting for an answer, he slammed the door. I cleared the table. Sebastian's kid sister stepped in, looking at me with the usual distance, frost, and disdain. Hannah, I really don't get you. You clung to my brother for years, and when he finally agrees to marry you, you throw a breakup tantrum. Yeah, why indeed? Maybe I'm just tired. Tired of being his doormat. I meant every word. She blinked, scorn filling her eyes. Someone like you acting high and mighty, hilarious. I swung my hand and slapped her. Someone like me once jumped into an icy lake and saved your ungrateful life. I'd been dying to do that for years. Clearly, nothing I did could earn basic respect. Once for Sebastian's sake I swallowed every insult, but now? The girl clutched her cheek, stunned. You're insane. I'd rather die than let you into our family. I ignored her, slung my bag over my shoulder and walked out, decisive. The Knight Estate's key sat in plain sight on the console. Good, because I had stopped wanting the marriage long ago. Cedar Haven was the city where my college roommate Chloe lived, and she was the only friend I'd had since childhood. We hadn't seen each other once since graduation. Day to day we kept in touch on iMessage. Yet it never dented our friendship. The instant the plane landed, Chloe dragged me straight to the Rusty. In her words, when old friends reunite, the only proper ritual is binge drinking for 3 days straight. Anything less can't convey how much you were missed. What I hadn't expected was that Adrian would be there too, sitting warm and immaculate, a table of bar snacks already ordered and waiting for us. Hannah, you know me, if there's no hot guy keeping my glass full, I'd rather stay sober. Chloe declared, flopping into her seat. I set my suitcase in the corner, a little stiff, and managed a soft, long time no see, toward Adrian. Chloe was a blazing sunflower. With her around, the vibe caught fire within minutes. Her tolerance, however, was still disastrously low. After a few rounds she began speed dialing every contact she had. When a handful of 6'1" hunks filed in, the private dining room suddenly felt cramped. Chin in hand, I blinked drowsily at Adrian. Even surrounded by runway faces, he remained the one you couldn't miss. Stop staring, you too. At the rate you're going, the monk could have fetched the scriptures 3 round trips by now, Chloe teased, giggling. What monk? I asked, lost. Adrian's crazy about you, you just walked away from a jerk. Hello, you're both adults, so just. Her joke cut off mid-sentence. Adrian's gaze darkened, a flicker of displeasure sharpening his eyes. I waved drunkenly, embarrassed. You're wasted, Chloe. How could he like me? Don't talk nonsense. Adrian abruptly stood, closed the distance, and looked down at me. I do like you, Hannah, very much. Whoops and cheers erupted around the table. Chloe wobbled upright. Adrian's my personal #1 pure love warrior. He makes me believe real love exists. Damn it. I stared, stunned, as the tips of Adrian's ears flared crimson and restrained devotion pulsed in his eyes. Chloe was trashed. Her husband stormed in, face like thunder, and slung her over his shoulder. The male models slunk out with tails between legs. Adrian and I sat wordlessly, studying each other across the wreckage of the table. I should head back, I said, awkwardly rising. I'll walk you. He grabbed my suitcase and, as naturally as breathing, laced his fingers through mine, towing me outside. I tried to wriggle free several times, his grip was absolute. Inside the sealed car the air felt scorching. Isn't this moving a little fast? I fretted, twisting the hem of my shirt, heart drumming. He said nothing, only tracing slow circles on the back of my hand, yet the heat radiating from his palm seemed feverish. At the hotel, he insisted on escorting me to my door. I hadn't even finished saying goodnight when he cupped the back of my head, lowered his mouth, and kissed me, sure, deliberate, and utterly possessive. Jamie, he murmured against my neck, breath ragged. That's what fast looks like. Understand now, Hannah? The man was a fox spirit. Torment me, then try to flee. I caught his shirt. What kind of man are you, anyway? Flames leapt in his eyes. We barely cleared the doorway before my back met the wall hard enough to sting. I went limp, arms hooked around his neck, legs locked at his waist. Muscle pressed into bone. He paused just long enough to lay me on the soft mattress, then covered me again. An hour later he looked down, amusement gentling his face as I teetered on the brink of sleep. So, am I a man or not? You still haven't answered. I managed a thumbs up, eyelids drooping. Of course you are. Satisfied, he tucked me against him and kissed my forehead. Sleep. Morning light revealed a breadcrumb trail of clothes from the door to the bed. One wild night. One beautiful mess. Adrian, already dressed, stood at the foot of the bed, eyes gleaming. Hannah, after you took advantage of me, you owe me some responsibility, don't you think? Huh? Responsibility for what, how? He frowned, adorably aggrieved. Planning to ghost me? I waved frantically. No, I'm not, don't say that. His smile returned. Great. So, when do we pick up the license? Today? Tomorrow? Morning? Afternoon? I clutched the sheets to my chin, suddenly terrified. Every word was English, yet the meaning refused to assemble in my brain. He claimed his family's marriage pressure was driving him insane. I could bail him out, he suggested, pretend marriage, anything. I shook my head. Marriage isn't a game. Adrian paced the suite, then actually phoned his lawyer. Every property, bank balance, share and stock he owned, he signed over to me, gratis. The attorney tried to object, urged caution, but after glancing at me for a long, stunned moment, he obediently drafted the papers. Adrian, we were college classmates, sure, not strangers, but, we're adults, does it have to be this extreme? My pulse was sprinting, his eyes dimmed, wounded. Hannah, last night was my first time, how can you treat me like this? And 6'1" powerhouse who'd bent me like a pretzel now stood red-eyed and accusing. For some reason I felt guilty. Was I really that awful? Had I actually turned into the jerk? I started doubting myself. Chloe texted asking me to shop. I hammered back. No can do, being marriage ultimatumed. She materialized in under 2 minutes, address in hand. I seriously suspected collusion. Without a word she tossed her old college smartphone into my lap. Babe, open your eyes, this man is head over heels. Read. I unlocked the screen and scrolled. Their chat stretched all the way back to freshman move-in. The deeper I went, the harder my heart slammed. She's got a cold, meds in a bag by the desk, can you grab them? Breakfast is on the front table, save me some dot. Christmas gifts waiting at the gate, don't forget dot. Birthday cake downstairs, pick it up when you can dot. Never let her know it was me dot. So the big sister attention Chloe got, rumors even called her gay, had secretly been Adrian all along. Post-college their logs were mostly screenshots of every Instagram post I'd made. Chloe scratched her head. Adrian greased a lot of wheels for our family business because of you. Honestly, I shouldn't butt in. But I'm dying here watching a 400-episode drama that refuses to end. She was practically yanking her hair out. Adrian's gorgeous eyes reddened again. So, Hannah, will you take responsibility? I swear I'll cherish every second. I retreated one step. We could date first. Marriage, way too fast. He slumped on the sofa, even the angle of his hair drooping in sorrow, and I half expected actual tears. His assistant slipped in, hesitating. Adrian's mom, dad, and grandfather were en route to meet me, news to us both. He sprang up, flustered, fussing over every possible slight. If anyone upset me, he'd fire back, just stay gorgeous and let him handle it. His earnest awkwardness made me laugh. Then the whole clan poured into the private dining room and I was, for real, stunned. Adrian's face mirrored the same disbelief, his usual composure cracking like thin ice. They buzzed around me, voices overlapping, not bothering to lower their volume. She's really a girl, right? Not some drag queen setup? Gorgeous. How's her family? Actually, who cares, female is enough. I approve 100%. So this is the girl who finally got our little Adrian laid. The scene spiraled into chaos. Whatever Adrian barked, no one listened. He had no choice. One phone call later, 20+ security detail marched in and forklifted the relatives out one by one. Only Mr. Vance, Mrs. Vance, and grandfather were left. Adrian kept silent, eyes drilling holes through them. Mrs. Vance tried a sheepish laugh. They're Adrian's uncles and aunts. When they heard we were meeting the daughter-in-law, they just tagged along. Sorry if we scared you, Hannah. Adrian's stunned irises flared with extra sparks of shock. Mom, how do you even know her name is Hannah? Still, nobody was interested in what he had to say. Mrs. Vance tugged me to a sofa on the side for girl talk. Sweetheart, did you two actually do it last night? Huh? I hesitated, unsure which it she meant. When I stayed mute, she squeezed her eyes shut and blurted, "Make love." Did you make love last night? My face went molten. Mrs. Vance read my blush like a victory banner, beaming the smug grin of a woman who'd seen it all. I'd braced for objections to my marrying Adrian. I hadn't expected them to be more impatient than he was. By the time it registered, we were already inside City Hall. Adrian said, "Give it 1 year. If you want out, I'll walk away with nothing." I shook my head. I'd never touch his money, but marrying him actually felt right. Who could resist a love that crashed over you like a flash flood? Adrian stared at the marriage certificate for the longest time. At last, "You're mine. Looking forward to life with you, Mr. Vance." Tears shimmered in his eyes as he pressed a solemn kiss to my forehead, his warm lips trembling with emotion. Sebastian rang. I hit decline, then blocked him in one smooth swipe. Adrian closed his eyes, jealous and wistful. "I regret not stealing you away back then." I tilted my head. "So what held you back, Mr. Vance?" "Because you only had eyes for him. I couldn't bear to wreck that kind of pure devotion. And he didn't treasure it." He laced his fingers through mine, voice thick with remorse. For years Sebastian had been my entire universe. I'd twisted myself into every shape that pleased him, treating his whims as the axis of my world. His words to his mother had taken me forever to digest. "Hannah is obedient and grateful. Even if I screw up after marriage, she'll never rebel. Those blue blood princesses are all divas. Do you really think I could have it this easy with them?" That sentence festered in my heart for ages, until one day it didn't sting at all. Whether Sebastian ever loved me ceased to matter. Adrian blasted our marriage across every outlet. Speculation exploded. What kind of woman had the Vance heir chosen, and why so extravagantly? The top trending tab was Adrian's own post. A 6-year chronicle of secret, aching longing. He ended it with, "I finally married the girl I've always loved. Thank God it's her, otherwise how would I survive the endless flatline of the rest of my life?" Netizens lost it, hailing the romance of the century. Handsome, loaded, and hopelessly devoted. Which lucky woman hit the jackpot? Adrian replied beneath, "I'm the lucky one." A single Instagram of our entwined hands, wedding bands glinting, was all Sebastian needed. The tiny mole on the web of my hand gave me away. He showed up outside Adrian's penthouse, haggard, beard shadowing his jaw. "Hannah, are you done throwing your tantrum?" "We're broken up," I answered, zero ripples inside. Our wedding date was set. "You're blowing this out of proportion over Briar." "Sebastian, let it go. We're done. I'm married now." I lifted my left hand, the ring catching the light. His eyes bulged in disbelief. 6 years, Hannah, and you retaliate by marrying some doormat out of spite?" "Doormat?" I felt only fatigue. I couldn't even recall what I'd once seen in him. I turned to leave. He tried to shove me into his car. "Stop the drama. I already dumped Briar." "Enough." Tires screeched. Adrian leapt out before his Bentley fully stopped, planted a fist in Sebastian's face, split lip blooming red. He pivoted, shielding me. "She may or may not love me yet, Sebastian, but she sure as hell isn't crawling back to you. You lost her all by yourself." Sebastian angled his head, sure of me as always. "Last chance. Hannah, are you coming with me?" The girl who'd loved him had already died the night she watched him entangled with another woman. I threaded my fingers through Adrian's. "I'm married. And honestly, you groveling like this is just pathetic." We walked away. Security detail herded Sebastian off the property, his shouts echoing, "You'll regret this, Hannah." I lifted Adrian's bruised knuckles. "Does it hurt?" Sebastian flooded his socials with Polaroids of me, captioned, "*years pass, only love grows deeper*. The standout photo, my hand blotting sweat from his brow, exposed the telltale mole. Overnight I became the town slut, juggling billionaires. Ruining a woman is easy. Call her cheap, gold-digging, shameless, disloyal, vicious. Truth irrelevant. The mud sticks and she plummets from pedestal to soar. By proximity, Adrian morphed into a low-life homewrecker. And Vance Holdings' ticker dipped in sympathy. Sebastian rang from a burner. "Hannah, when push comes to shove, guess what Adrian chooses, empire or you? I bet he cuts you loose." I said nothing and ended the call. Adrian sat beside me, sliding a bowl of shelled pistachios my way. "Trust me, this is nothing." I did trust him. I just refused to drag him into the gutter with me. "Adrian, let's get divorced." I couldn't meet his eyes. He folded me against his chest, breath warm at my ear. "I've had, what, 3 happy days? And now you want to kick me out of my own life? Forget it." "But Vance stock. Hannah, we're married. You'd dump me over a headline's hiccup?" Words failed me. Guilt pricked. Maybe I no longer had the strength to love anyone that fiercely. All morning Adrian was on calls, firewalling the scandal. I sat nearby crafting a presentation. Nobody knew my history with Sebastian better than I did. I didn't stop working until late at night, then hit post on social media. Inside half an hour we were trending. I wrote about how we met, how we fell in love, how we learned every inch of each other, and then how love died and betrayal tasted like day-old takeout. At the end I said, "I can't let the ugliness of yesterday rob me of the courage to start over. Nobody gets to block my road to happiness." Netizens immediately connected the dots. They swarmed Sebastian's comment section demanding justice for me. Once the backlash was loud enough, I went live. I answered every question. "Yes, I met Adrian after the breakup. We had 0 contact before that." "Correct, Sebastian cheated. As for the woman, whether she comes forward or stays hidden is their problem." The TLDR became, "FL handled the split with class, ML number 2 had been pining for years, seized the moment." Then the scumbag X reared his head again. I liked the summary. Adrian commented underneath, "*ball I'm finally legit, bless. The thread died laughing, calling him adorable. Sebastian deleted the post and nuked his entire account. One midnight my phone rang, "Uncle." I hesitated, then picked up. Whatever Sebastian had become, Uncle had always been decent to me. "Casey, Mr. Knight's blind drunk, won't leave the car, keeps yelling your name. Could you come?" I drew a slow breath. "I'm in Cedar Haven. Even if I weren't, I wouldn't come. Sebastian and I are finished." A gasp carried over the line. Then Sebastian's voice, "Hannah, come back, okay? I already broke up with Briar." Nothing feels right without you, the shower's too cold, the shirt's crease wrong, the house is pitch black every night. I frowned. Hire a housekeeper. I hung up. Another unknown number flashed. I rejected it. Who calls decent people after midnight? A text popped up. Hannah, feeling smug now, me. I'd been woken 3 times. What on earth was there to feel smug about? Next text, I may not get him, but you can't rewind either. Marrying on a whim, real smart, idiot. I knew who this was. Briar. Yet the crime was Sebastian's. I couldn't see why she kept poking me. I replied to nothing, just blocked her. The more you wrestle with garbage, the more it stains your shoes. Smarter to walk away. I'd already left the cage, no need to peer back. Days later, Sebastian and Briar detonated across the trending tab again. A scandal. Briar was pregnant and had stormed the Knight estate demanding a resolution. Either marry her or cut her $100 million check. Sebastian refused, even ordered staff to drag her to a clinic. Briar wouldn't go. So she leaked proof that his subsidiary had cooked its books. Now she'd lose the baby and leave empty-handed. A clip of her barefoot, chasing his car down the street, went viral. Commentators clucked. She wanted love when she should have taken cash, now she's ruined. Moral. Know your lane. Wait. I've got receipts. This chick wasn't exclusive to Sebastian. Within days her sponsors were exposed, fat ones, thin ones, ugly ones, wrinkled ones, all obscenely rich, all old enough to be her father. Briar snapped, jumped onto his hood, stripping and cursing his cruelty mid-intersection. Sebastian punched her in front of the paparazzi. The circus made our old triangle look quaint. Their meltdown bumped Adrian and me out of the spotlight. But Adrian was quietly furious. He still sent a single white rose every morning, still asked Mrs. Lee to cook my favorite lemon ricotta pancakes. Yet when we passed in the hall he only hummed under his breath, eyes elsewhere. I felt the chill. I'd bruised him when I'd blurted the word divorce star. Giving up so easily must have cut deep. I tried to coax him back, hand-squeezed orange juice at dawn, a limited edition Spider-Man statuette I'd hunted on Poshmark. He accepted every gift, grinning like a boy, but the frost stayed. I don't let quarrels age. By day 4 I staged a scene. When Adrian stepped off the elevator he found my suitcase gaping in the living room and me sniffling dramatically as I shoved clothes inside. He rushed over, panic white on his face. What happened? Where are you going? His watery eyes almost broke me, but I clenched my teeth and kept acting. I'm not leaving. I'm kicking you out. Heh. Adrian froze, finally noticing the pile was his. I don't get it. What did I do? I rose on tiptoe, fisted his collar, and kissed him until we were both breathless. Then I shoved him back. Adrian, if you don't forgive me tonight, I swear I'll change the locks. His stunned face cracked, a smile he couldn't fight slid across his mouth. That level's not gonna cut it. Our shirts started at the foyer and ended draped over the bedpost. Heat fogged the windows until well past midnight. I sprawled across his chest, lips to his ear. I'll never walk away again. Stop being mad, okay? He turned, eyes soft as warm brandy. Hannah, I won't give you the chance to. Only then did I learn why the collectors who'd hounded my parents after college had vanished overnight. Adrian had erased the debts and warned every shark in the city to stay quiet. Why me? I asked, tracing the bow of his lip. Why so many years? I mean, I'm awesome, obviously, but what exactly hooked you? Adrian stretched, suddenly energized, and bounced off the mattress. Roll the tape. Heh. I wrapped myself in his robe and followed him to the media room. He cued a grainy security clip, freshman me sprinting across campus lawn, diving into the artificial lake, hauling out Sebastian's little sister and, as a bonus, a drenched Pekingese. When it ended I blinked. So you were background extra number 3? Instant crush on heroic co-ed? He shook his head. The dog was mine. It once saved my life. You saved it, so by the transitive property you saved me. I stared. Billionaire logic is special. After that, wherever you were, my eyes tracked you, he said, voice dropping. I couldn't figure out why the girl who arrived in a Bentley hustled lattes at the library cafe. Hannah, falling wasn't lightning, it was years of watching and wanting. Sound stalker adjacent, I teased, shrinking into the cushions. Next you'll keep my hair in a locket. He groaned. Aren't you supposed to melt, leap into my arms, and deliver a tearful monologue? I rolled my eyes. You've binge-read too many romance novels. He chased me around the sofa, still explaining. I never approached, didn't want to burden you. By the time his voice turned small I'd had enough. I cupped his face and kissed the self-doubt silent. Adrian, I whispered against his mouth, Sam you loved me, and Sam you waited. His answer was heat, hands, and the promise that tomorrow would belong to us. While I was deep in wedding prep, my graphic novel finally hit shelves, boosted by that viral triangle trending tab drama. My anonymous art account got doxed overnight, and what had been a small cult following exploded into a full-blown phenomenon. The buzz landed me my dream job at Jamie, the studio I'd worshipped since college. The owner is famously zen, show up whenever, drop one project a year, but it has to be flawless, no exceptions. Their reputation is bulletproof. After my first paycheck I swung by Adrian's office to coax him to lunch, only to run into Mrs. Vance in the lobby. She said he was stuck in a board meeting and begged me to keep her company first. Over salads she kept opening her mouth, then shutting it, hiding behind refills of my water glass. Auntie, just say it. I'm tougher than I look. She squeezed my hand like she was signing a treaty. Hannah, I know this is unfair, but if I don't speak up the guilt will kill me. My curiosity spiked, unease blooming in my stomach. What now? She slid a $50 million check across the table. Whatever happens between you and my son, this is yours, no strings. I pushed it back. Tell me what's wrong. There are rumors about Adrian. Have you heard? Rumors? I'd collected them like trading cards, filthy rich, lethal in a boardroom, unfairly pretty, quieter than a church mouse. She waved that off. They say he's only ever liked men. So when someone saw him checking into a hotel suite with a woman, the whole clan lost its mind. Heh! My fingers flew to the love bite on my neck. I'm many things, but boyish isn't one of them. Watching me stay calm, she exhaled. Maybe he's switched teams again. You're adorable. If I were 30 years younger I'd fight you for him. I covered her restless hand and looked her straight in the eye. Auntie, relax. I'm not going anywhere. I love him. The word love shot out before I could duck, startling me, then warmth flooded in, bright and unstoppable. Auntie, what was Adrian like in college? She blinked. No girlfriends. Girls who confessed supposedly left crying. I tried a smile. Did you know we were classmates? Shock rippled across her face, bingo. After that lunch, every glimpse of Adrian made me want to giggle. While I bit my cheeks, he kept shooting me side eyes. I studied the guys in his bullpen, each handsomer than the last, all potential suspects. Adrian caught the sweep of my gaze, face icing over. He dismissed everyone, then cornered me, tipping my head back and kissing me hard. Tired of me already? My staff more entertaining? I met his jealous glare. Word is my husband bats for the other team. His expression blackened. My mother paid you a visit. How did you? Only she would dare. So. My eyes drifted south. What's the verdict? Color crawled up his throat. I want only you, past, present, future. End of discussion. Not doubting you. But where did the rumor even start? He spun away with a groan. Day one I told you my family was marriage crazy. Saying I was gay beat dragging home a string of blind dates. I rolled the phrase male daughter-in-law around my tongue like wine. He snatched my wrist and hauled me toward his private lounge. Words are cheap, Mrs. Vance. I'll demonstrate my preferences inch by inch until you're convinced. We emerged hours later, clothes wrinkled, my brain fuzzy, senses humming that something was off, though I couldn't name it. The night before the ceremony Sebastian showed up. I tried to refuse, but Adrian said, go. He's flying to Norway tomorrow, probably for good. I caught a shadow in his tone and stepped outside. Sebastian looked skeletal, cheeks hollow, eyes bruised. My heart lurched harder when I saw the wheelchair. Hannah, happy wedding day. Sam. Can you forgive me? I shook my head. No anger left, nothing to forgive. You're already erased. He clutched his chest. Briar ran me over, nerve damage. I may never walk again. Dad banished me. The bastard's son runs night now. Karma, right? I had no words, only a quiet Morgan before I walked away. Goodbye, Sebastian. Back inside, I googled. Briar, 4 years for assault. Sebastian, more than leg trauma. He'd lost his manhood. No wonder the family ditched him. His sister had already wed, whirlwind ceremony to a divorced tycoon twice her age. Headlines split between congratulations and pity. Once the ultimate facecon, she couldn't have chosen the balding mogul freely. Life turns on a dime, nothing was the same. Adrian appeared with warm milk, tablet balanced on the tray, making me pick bouquet styles. On the big day Chloe whispered, "Know why the Adrian likes men's story spread? He planted it himself, no matchmaking, no backlash about your background. He was clearing the runway for you." Tears in her eyes, she nodded at my disbelief. Adrian, from this moment on, I'm not letting go either. My I do was a sob, a shout, a promise. Eyes shining, he pulled me close. We found each other, and this time we stay found. Thanks for listening. If you loved the story, hit like, share, and tell us your thoughts below. Subscribe for more. See you next time.